Have you ever really stopped to think about that phone in your pocket? How on earth did we go from computers that took up an entire room to, well, that? We're about to take a trip back in time and trace the wild story of the incredible shrinking computer. It's a journey that literally changed everything.
It's a great question, isn't it? I mean, on one hand, you've got this absolute behemoth from the 1940s, and on the other, this slick little device you use every single day. They seem like they're from totally different planets, right? But what if they aren't?
Yeah, they have a lot more in common than you'd probably guess. You see, this whole thing isn't just a story about technology getting smaller and smaller. It's really a story about liberation, about how computing power broke out of the lab and found its way right into our hands.
Okay, just look at this. This picture says it all. On the left, that's a part of the ENIAC, basically the granddaddy of all modern computers. This thing had 19,000 vacuum tubes. It was so huge and so power-hungry, legend has it that when they fired it up, the lights in Philadelphia would actually dim. And then on the right, a smartphone. The leap from one to the other is just, wow, it's absolutely mind-blowing. So to really get this, we've got to go way, way back. Let's dive into Section 1, the Age of Giants. We're talking about a time when computers were these colossal, mysterious machines, locked away for the exclusive use of governments and giant corporations. So this first generation of computers were called mainframes. The best way to think of them is like a giant power plant, but for data. They were these massive, centralized hubs of processing power that would just churn through incredible amounts of information for big organizations. You know, stuff like calculating the payroll for thousands of employees, or running super complex scientific models. Okay, so this is where things start to change. A mainframe was kind of like one master chef in a giant kitchen, cooking one enormous meal all at once. That's what we call batch processing. But their modern descendants, servers, are more like a whole team of chefs, all working together to whip up a constant stream of smaller dishes whenever you ask for them. Every single time you stream a movie, check your email, or use a cloud service, boom, you're tapping into that team of chefs. But of course, the reign of the giants wasn't going to last forever. And that brings us to the next chapter, Section 2, A Computer for Everyone. This is where the real revolution kicks off, the moment computing power finally escaped the data center and landed on our desks at home. And man, this revolution happened fast. The spark was the microprocessor back in '71, an entire computer squeezed onto one tiny little chip. That one invention just lit a fire under a bunch of electronics hobbyists who started building their own machines like the famous Altair 8800. Then came the Apple II, which was way more user-friendly and started to sneak into offices. But the real earthquake, that hit in 1981 with the IBM PC. You could say Apple lit the fuse, but IBM, well, they dropped the bomb. The second they entered the market, the whole game changed. Suddenly, personal computers weren't just for hobbyists and early adopters anymore. Nope, they were serious business tools. That IBM logo gave the PC a stamp of approval that corporations couldn't ignore, and just like that, the era of the desktop was born. So the computer is now on our desks. What's the next logical step? Well, it was obvious. We had to cut the cord. And that brings us to Section 3, Power in Your Hands. The dream was to make computing something you could take with you, anywhere you go. And that first step on the journey was the PDA, or Personal Digital Assistant. It was really a glimpse of the future, wasn't it? You could have your address book, your calendar, a few basic apps, all right there in the palm of your hand. It was a revolutionary idea, for sure, but it was only half the story. See, the problem was you were still juggling two different gadgets, your PDA and your phone. The real magic happened when those two worlds finally collided. And the result? The smartphone. A device that was so much more than the sum of its parts. It was a computer, a phone, and an internet gateway, all rolled into one. Of course, all this new freedom came with a whole new set of risks. All of a sudden, company secrets were walking out the door every single night in people's pockets. A lost or stolen phone could mean a catastrophic data breach. This new reality meant features like a remote wipe capability weren't just nice to have, they became an absolute necessity. And so that journey brings us right up to the present day. We're in Section 4, today's computer ecosystem. Because now the computer is no longer one single thing. It's a diverse, interconnected family of devices, each with its own special role to play. This table is a perfect snapshot of where we are now. The giants, the servers, are still with us, humming away in data centers, acting as the invisible engines of our digital world.
The trusty desktop is still our powerhouse for heavy-duty stuff. The laptop is our mobile office, and the smartphone is our constant companion, our window to everything. Each one is a branch on the same evolutionary tree, and it's a testament to that incredible journey of the shrinking computer. So, from room-sized to pocket-sized, the computer's journey has been one of non-stop transformation. But here's the thing, the story is far from over. As technology continues to shrink and weave itself deeper into the very fabric of our lives, the real question is, what comes next? Where will the incredible shrinking computer take us in the years to come?